Good afternoon and welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. This afternoon I'm going to show you two different dishes that we're going to have tonight. I have had a lot of messages asking if I would show how I use the canned okra. And I want to tell you that this okra is some that I canned either last year or the year before. I know it's not this year because I have it in a different place. But yes, when you put it up, when you can it, it does look like it's going to be slimy. But I promise you it's not. Now I have already broken the seal on here, so don't think it didn't seal because I had to use my power to get that off. But what you do with it in the jar, you bring it to your sink, you pour it in a colander, and you can tell that it looks slimy in there. You can tell. But all you do is you run cold water over it and rinse it very good, just with cold water. I'm going to let that cold water run, and then I'm going to show you what I do over here. The way I do mine, I take a gallon Ziploc bag. You can do it any way you want. If you're used to just putting your batter on it in the bowl, you can do that. But I use cornmeal for mine. A lot of people use flour. It doesn't matter. But my mama used cornmeal, and that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to start with a half a cup of cornmeal. I may have to add more, but it's easier to add more than if you put too much. Then I'm going to put about a teaspoon of salt, we like pepper, so I'm going to put about a teaspoon of pepper in there. I just mix it up real good. All right, I'm going to come back over to the sink. I'm going to make sure that it's rinsed really good. You see, it's that color that I told you when you're bringing it to a boil, you want it to change colors, and it looks like an olive green. Okay, I'm making sure all the water is out. I'm going to get my bag, and I'm just going to put my okra in the bag with my cornmeal. You can, if it's just two people, really and truly, a pint would be enough unless you wanted leftovers. But anyway, like I said, I may have to add a little bit more cornmeal. Now go ahead and turn my grease. In my black skillet, I didn't measure, but you just want the bottom covered real good. I'm going to turn this eye on and let it get hot. While it's getting hot, I just shake it around in this. I think I told y'all before that I learned this trick from Hoyt Tidwell. Y'all, I love to watch different cooking shows. Someone who had found me told me that they had a cooking show, and I went and watched them. Loved it. Right now, I forget the name, but I will let you know because I think y'all are going to like it too. We're not competing. At least I'm not competing. I want everybody to learn as many new tricks as you can. But you see, you just are going to get all of that coated. There's just a little bit more that I'm going to put. I don't want to put too much because I'd like to just be able to just dump this whole bag in the grease and not have to use my hands to get it out. Okay, while we're waiting on this to heat, I'm going to tell you the other dish that I'm going to show you. This may be something you already do, and I hope it is. But I grew up in the country. I lived on a farm. Matter of fact, my home right now was once cotton land. And when I was a little girl, I can remember chickens and pigs and cows and everything, and big gardens, not just a garden. They would plant a patch of peas, a patch of corn. I mean, big gardens. But we didn't waste anything, not anything. The other night, we had mashed potatoes. You know how I told you that I fix mine and I always add a spoon of mayonnaise? Well, this was what was left. I didn't want to throw it away. So, sometimes when I have leftover mashed potatoes, we'll warm them up and have them like mashed potatoes. Sometimes, just to have something different, and tonight, we're going to have it different. We're going to have potato patties. And all you do is you take your cream potatoes, mashed potatoes that you have left, you put them in a bowl. I'm watching my grease because I don't want it to get too hot. You add 1 egg, just mix that real good, that egg in there. Now, if you had a lot of leftover potatoes, you would want to use 2 eggs. All right, remember these potatoes have already been seasoned. I chopped up an onion, just to your taste, whatever. I'm gonna mix that up in there. And then, depending on the amount of potatoes, I can't tell you how much because I didn't have a lot of potatoes. But I'm going to put maybe 1/4 cup of flour right now. You can use self-rising or all-purpose. It doesn't matter. Okay? You're just wanting to mix them together. May put just a tad more. You just want it where you can form little patties. Okay? Now, I'm going to turn my skillet on and let this be heating. I put some oil in this. Didn't put as much as my okra. But anyway, I'm going to turn it on. Let it get warm. Okay? My okra oil is hot. All I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this in. Okay. I'm going to turn it on medium. I'm going to let that brown, and I will, when I see that it's browned on one side, I'll take my spoon or spatula and I'll turn it. And I'll keep doing that until it's good and brown. Some people brown theirs more than other people. We like ours brown. But anyway, I'll come back and I'll show you that. Now while this is heating up, all I'm going to do is make sure that flour and egg and onion are mixed in really good. And then when this is hot, I'm going to put them in there. And I'll show you, I'll let that heat up and then I'll show you putting them in. And then we'll come back in a little bit and show you when they're done. But I think you're going to love this. You don't want to waste anything. I think I told y'all before when I made soup, vegetable soup with my grandchildren, and I forgot to carry my bowl of leftovers for my soup, but I'm going to show you this. I have a bowl that I keep in my refrigerator, and this one is full. There's peas on top. You're going to see green beans, even some macaroni and cheese. There's some corn in there. And all I do when I'm ready to make my vegetable soup is I will put a couple of quarts of my canned tomatoes, put that in it. Those are already seasoned. It makes a great. Now, let me just make sure. See, that was browning a little bit, but that I'll keep turning it. That's how I do it. I'm going to tell you, you can do this. You can do your potato patties in any kind of skillet. You can see this is just a non-stick skillet. But you need to fry okra in an iron skillet. My son asked me one time, Mama, why does my okra not do like yours? And I think he was frying it at his that time in a stainless skillet. It's just not going to do. You need an iron skillet. But anyway, okay, that's ready. I'm just going to drop them. And we'll flatten them out, kind of like a salmon patty or a whatever. But I will show you. I'll come back. I'll be back in just a little bit and show you what these look like when they're done.